old business is the City Hall update on the punch list.
And
I haven't talked to Steve. You talked?
I have not talked to Steve, but I
He
have
called me before I got here.
Okay.
Get a hold of Sarah.
That's out of town, and he ain't gonna be here tonight, that's right.
Okay.
He didn't show up. And, he actually gave me the update on the water loss issue too. This week they should finish up doing the pump station. And then they were gonna try to pick some of these longer lines we got going through remote areas and do some blows on them.
Okay.
And he said that, he would be getting a hold of Steve and figuring out, I know the year date's coming up, but these have been documented prior to, and he's been made aware of, so he will take care of it.
Okay.
He's gonna be here there on the 27th.
Okay.
Gonna do the air, he said, and then he's gonna take the windows out on the 28th.
Okay.
I don't really think he thinks he can do it on windows, that's just me.
So you got to place them in there, so people smash it in.
Right, but when I was here Wednesday, I was thinking, hold on. But that one time, I
I'll just take the
was
window out and move that.
but we're using the same mold.
It said he's gonna do some other things on the 27th.
Yeah, but they got to put the window out, put some more insulation on the windows and set it back.
Okay.
He's just down to 3 or 4 items left.
No, it's a list of items. There's a long list of items, it's little bitty stuff
Well,
that he could take care of in a couple of days. But some major things, the doors, the windows. leaf
the
things.
ceilings, yeah.
Yeah, it's just something you take care of, except for the windows, you can do them in a day. probably.
Okay. He's planning on it the 27th, that's what he told you.
And that's all I've got from saying on that. He
Okay.
said that the fellow that was here that night, said he had to be in New Johnsonville, and Seth was out of town, and he apologized for not being here.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the disaster grant generators with phase 1. I guess they're in, and I guess that's
They're
over.
in, and I think you actually signed some
Right.
paperwork to finalize and close that part out.
Right.
Chris sent those today. Project 2, he got the letter to proceed
On the
for
pump.
August the 11th. He's not probably gonna start anything until late into October.
Okay.
The manufacturer of the pumps has given him a certain date. He still seems to think he should be able to meet the deadline, which the deadline puts him in at December the.
Yeah, we talked about it that the other day, the opening of the closing.
December the 9th, 2014 is the deadline, which he may end up running a few days over.
Well, we told him that we're not that hard up. So if he hadn't got the stuff, he just hadn't got it, that's.
Well,
It's documented and everything.
Right.
CDBG will-
Right.
we'll prove it, and that's what Chris said he would take care of. And then he's off on another vacation, he won't be here next month.
Okay.
But it looks like mid-October when he's actually going to start construction on the pump. And the project 3 or phase 3, we still have not heard nothing from the state, so I guess we're still in the running. Last time it happened, we ended up with a new city hall, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get the 147 pump station too. They've not told us no yet,
That's good.
but everything is pretty well moving on.
Okay.
That's good.
Next thing on the agenda is the second reading on ordinance 2014-72. I can't remember exactly what that was.
The certified tax rate.
Oh, that's right. Be the second reading on the tax rate,
72 or 172?
172. Yeah, I might have said 72. Or is it 72?
No, it's 170.
172? Need a motion and a second to approve on the second reading.
Motion. Motion to approve. understand.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anything else under old business?
Well, if y'all look at the back of the packet, you'll kind of see the letter from the water, wastewater finance board. That's kind of where they have agreed to adopt, that our plan was a good plan moving forward. That's kind of the reason why we didn't, that is the reason why we didn't have to go to national. Which we've done, started the, taking actions to remedy the infiltration, which that's on the sewer. And we're exploring the leak detection program. We've actually implemented it, replacing our oldest meters in the system, and then, of course, everyone knows the 15% increase. Which we actually found, we did find a leak this week.
Well, Jerry was telling me, y'all found one over here at Teeter's?
Yeah, right here at Peters, and it was actually, Larry and Ronnie, there's the one that, Jerry's I got my information from, and it was a pretty good stream of water that was ending back up into the sewer, correct? Which I know that we have kind of slacked off on rain a little bit, but the pump numbers have actually been going down since they found this leak. So hopefully that
Well,
might have been one of our
So
issues.
it must have been, so it was leaking back into the sewer system?
Pretty good little leak over there, and the sewer was right there, below it right there.
Okay,
So that's the way it was going, right towards the sewer.
right toward it.
So, and that's another manhole we may need to look at and see if we need to put a seal tight lid on it or something. Does that got a seal tight lid on it?
And I don't think he's got one on.
We didn't do nothing to these right up in this area whenever we rehabbed them, did we? I don't think we
No,
did nothing.
that's
No.
a section of where we think we got a bad one over yonder. In the woods.
So we're still moving forward with our infiltration and loss.
And when I talked with Joyce, that's one of the main things she's concerned about. She called me on the phone and told me that's when she's gonna get this letter. That's one of the main things she's concerned about, that's what shows the most increase in the budget.
Okay.
The infiltration.
And the water loss.
So she knows that we actually went ahead with the leak detection program and, okay.
Yeah, I sent her all that.
Okay. We'll move on to new business, and next, under new business is a de-annexation of Stewart County. Sid, you look into that again?
Yeah, and I didn't quite have time to get to it before, in time enough to give notice for tonight for a hearing on it, but you just gotta give notice that you're gonna have a hearing, and I've prepared one and emailed it to Nancy
Okay.
today, and Nancy, I'll get it in the paper for the next time, I guess. I thought it probably needed to go in there at least a week beforehand.
Okay.
I forgot about it.
Well, it kind of, like me too, but I had it on the list of things to do, just didn't get back
I
to
didn't
it.
write it down,
So next, of course, may have to reschedule kind of Labor Day. The next regular business night, we'll have a public hearing before the regular meeting.
Quarter till 6, right?
Okay.
I put the time in there wrong, change that. I put 6:45 to 5:45. Check that, make sure I got it right. And then I prepared an ordinance and I've emailed that to Nancy, and Nancy, however she gets things to you, get that to y'all, look at it beforehand so we see it.
Okay.
And then we can move on and have to pass it on 2 readings.
Okay.
And it should take care of it.
Has the city ever gotten any tax money off that property at all?
We probably have, but it's not per se like you pay where your house is. How much tax money we made off that? Probably the last 20 years, maybe $100.
Yeah.
Maybe $100 in the last 20 years.
Maybe 100, yeah.
I mean, right now it's $15,
But so that's the whole
That
piece,
was,
though.
that's wrong.
That's-
That's including part of the usage.
Yeah,
So just part of the Stewart
yeah,
County,
that's just parts of the city, yeah.
probably gonna be 5.
Probably not.
And they're not paying them, so They're gonna turn it up to 4, so.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if we had ever gotten any tax money.
Yeah, you got a little bit. They're behind maybe 4 years.
They
It's
still
got $15.
around?
Each one's $15 a year, so.
Are they still around? People that own?
The lady that owned the house died probably 15 years ago. And I guess it's handed down through the heirs. I don't even know if the heirs know who owned it themselves.
Yeah, that may be, maybe some of the problem.
That may be what the problem is with the taxes in fact. They may have passed on and then whoever
Tied up.
brought it.
So we'll take care of that, next meeting night then with public hearing. Next thing on the new business, I don't know if did you send out the email on the FEMA? Everybody, so we need to make a decision on that tonight.
Well, I wanted you to look at it when we can make a decision on it in September.
Okay.
It requires more than me to be here.
We'll take several hands that name,
Mm,
we'll take several of them.
yeah. I mean, like I said, when I had it in December in here, I had people going in and out the doors, which is a definite no-no for FEMA.
Right.
Once they come in, they're not allowed to go out until I call and get the all clear from 911. And they were going in and out, leaving their kids in here.
And it may not hurt if we actually got us some signs printed, or once you enter. you know.
Yeah, those are actually on the way.
Your property of city of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Until the threat is
That's
over.
what I was busy looking around, doing the radio, the phone, and I heard the door open. I went, shut. I went, what happened? And Denise told me, well, somebody went out. I said, well, isn't that their baby?
Yeah.
And their baby was still in here, but they was outside.
You let people do not leave children unattended.
No, I didn't, but I can make one. I said, well, Denise, would you please watch it? I can't.
We've got to come up with what, we've got to name 5 people.
I started to say, I read it, and it looked like to me about 5 people.
The building, and there's one of them that we could actually name one of our guys that works for the city, because it'd be.
The generator.
Right, and stuff like that, which they're gonna maintain and change oil or fuel or
Right.
whatever, so we may actually just name one of them. If something happens during, say, the power goes out and the generator goes down, you know, the only people that you're gonna get to be able to fix it is the ones that install it. But we'll have someone to contact, you know, low fuel or something like
Right.
that.
I guess it kicked on, was you here the other day when the lights went off?
Well, it's hard to tell when the electricity comes back on or whether the generator comes back on, because the current did actually go off.
Okay, but the generator picked it back up.
Well, it was off enough we had to reset everything, so.
Well, it will. It's probably a,
Because I know the night of the storm that I was in here, it kicked on when the current went off. I mean, it was just instant. Current went off and it come back on, the thing.
it's usually
But
about,
I didn't have full.
what we had to do at the office on ours, when it swaps over, we had to put all the computers and everything on battery backup, because everything that they was working on was loose. But the lights will go dim, go out, and then they'll come right back on.
Yeah, that's the way we did it.
So we might want to get you some UPS to put on.
I got that on all of them.
Okay,
But the lights did go,
Even in there, it's a EPS.
okay.
so the lights did go plumb out before it picked up.
The other day, when it wasn't storm, whenever.
Yeah, we lost the circuit up here
Yeah.
for just probably 20, 30 seconds probably.
Yeah.
But the line is actually got to go down.
Because
That's switched
that's
off.
when we
and
called Jerry
fired
to
up.
see.
Yeah, all the new generators should have picked up too. Did the one at City Hall?
One City Hall did, we know.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess all the new generators and this one, all of them kicked on.
But I spoke with Spencer today and asked him to ask some of his volunteer firemen. Usually if something like that's going on, some of them's out.
They usually go to the fire hall too.
Right, so, you know, we might be able to, and I told him to ask them if any of them would be interested in being named as, one of them is a assignee, one of them is assistant manager, and then we're gonna name Nancy as the manager.
Yeah, right.
Cause we gotta have someone, if Nancy's gone, when this
Right.
comes out, that come up here and open it, and that's, I still think we'd be better off with somebody in our fire department doing that.
Right.
Not to say Spencer, because I know he's chief and he'll
Right.
be easy if the catastrophe hits, but
Right.
have someone that will go through the training with Nancy on managing the, per se, the storm.
Right.
I like that. Quick start.
Yeah.
We will call Philip and see if he would be interested in that would be Philip Lovelock.
Yeah.
He is our assistant.
He's assistant. Yeah. But that's something we'll address next month, so.
Well, I got to you where I'll look at it a
Okay.
little bit longer than 2 days.
If
Right.
any of y'all want to be named to any of the positions on the committee, or whatever you want to call it.
And the reason I'm asking for it now is because I have to have this before FEMA comes to do their closeout.
Right.
Still want to come do their closeout. That's why I want to Steve to get his stuff done and
Right.
This is for,
get that done.
For the tornado safe room for FEMA,
We gotta implement a plan of action in an emergency. We gotta have people here that does their,
Yeah, that's right. You didn't get it because you don't have a computer address. But I will.
You don't have your email.
Do you have an email address? Do you? Okay. Write it down.
And
That's what I was going down the line. I thought, oh, look, everybody do that.
but if any of y'all want to be named to that, you can be.
well, the only thing with
I
me,
can't be, because if it's
me and him same
or Ray.
grade.
That's how we'll be in storms here.
So I've got prior obligations on storm now.
Me too.
Maybe one day when I retire.
Yeah. Well, one thing now about all the generators we do have, it's not really gonna affect us much on the, now on the sewer and the, water. We can still pump and, till we run out of fuel anyway.
If we have another ice storm and we lose this line up here, we'll still be able to.
Yeah, the tornado we had, what year was that, it come right through here? The power was out up here, probably, I know it was out for 24 hours.
That down that way was out a little
It
longer.
was longer than that down toward the lake. But
Was that 91, 92?
Well, you know, we had the flood, it was out that
Yeah.
week after for a few days, wasn't it, or at least
Well,
most
no.
of one day?
Yeah,
I come up to the Ridge office and that building we had was hanging in top of the tree over from Steve Hudson's
Yeah.
house. And Steve had it back over there in the road where people could at least get.
right.
That goes about 2000.
I think the state troopers actually shut Tennessee Ridge off. They shut the roads off up there. And we was out, the fire was out for, I know it was right here for 24 hours.
I was at the Rock House over on my road, I lived down that road. He wasn't gonna let me go home,
This trooper
the
wasn't?
trooper was. I said, I live right there. See it? My mom lives right there. I'm sorry, man, you gotta turn around. I said, I'm not turning around.
Wait, cars,
I
that's
said, I can
our-
open the off for you. Look at that.
Yeah. How long will running generators supposed to run on a tank of fuel?
Depends on the load. I mean, you know, if pumps are idle, they don't run a lot longer than will if they're.
Under load?
Yeah, our generators at Erin takes our whole load of the office, and it runs 30 minutes every week. And every
That's what
6
ours
months,
is.
I've got to put about 120 gallons. of
That's
fuel.
about what ours is.
But it'll take the whole load of the office.
That's
So
what ours
that, you
will
know,
too.
probably a day and a half. Which we've got a fuel tank at the city building up there.
Yeah,
And, I talked to Jerry, we're actually, whenever the first round of fueling comes, probably go buy one of those gas tanks like you put in the bed of a truck.
Yeah.
Put it on a trailer and drive around and
Fuel 'em up.
these up.
Anything else on new business?
Rescheduling the September meeting.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to believe that, we're already looking at Labor Day. Man,
Almost over.
this year is gone.
Flying by.
Summer's gone.
Be putting up Christmas
Be
lights.
putting up Christmas lights before you know it.
Looked like you just took them down.
Just, yeah, it seemed like just took them down.
And, also, we did finally implement us a use agreement for the city hall. So now, we've had a couple of instances of actually used it, and maybe some more people now understand that we're renting it. They'll try to use a little more. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
And, got one more thing that I'd like to bring up. This is Tim's last meeting.
Oh, is that right?
He has been a diligent member of this council for how many years now?
6, maybe?
No, I thought it was more than that.
Right?
8, I think.
6 or 8, something.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everything you've done for the city. I know things cause to go other ways. I hate to see you leave, though. You've done us good.
Yeah.
So you can stay for a while if you want, till we appoint somebody anyway.
We appreciate your service to the.
We really appreciate your service to the city, and I know the people up here do. I know your family does. We really hate to see you go.
I hate to leave, but with my job, it's just hard to. If I was working here in the county, it'd be different, but it's hard for me to, even once a month, it's still pretty hard for me to get here sometimes. So I don't want to do a disservice to the citizens of the city. And I think as a board, we've done a lot of good things. We changed our election to save us a little money. We had a city festival a couple of years. We got a new city hall, so I think we might not have always agreed on everything.
Well,
We left here friends and
Pump
Right.
station, we got
pump
the
station. I mean, we've done a lot in the last,
several years.
so
Well, we appreciate your service. If you ever move back, maybe you'll consider.
if
Running
I'm back,
again.
I would be back home, but it's a little hard on me right now.
It is, I understand.
And if you guys ever need something, I'm not too far away, so.
Good.
yeah.
Call it.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to come back and just have the Ridge Fest in when we start back with it?
I don't know.
But, no, we really appreciate what you've done, and it's like Kenneth said, I think you can say while you was in office, we did a lot of things up here to help the community out, so. And, it's gonna be hard to find somebody to take your place, so. We appreciate it.
I have got one more thing, and I don't know, we haven't talked about this, but do we want to apply for a CDBG grant? Have we got anything that we want to water or sewer?
Well,
It's coming around time of year if we're gonna do it. We need to kind of be making some preparations on what it is we think we may want to move with. And it's nothing that has to be come up.
right,
As long as we know within the next month or so, if we want to move forward.
it probably, I mean, I'm all for that, if somebody wants to bring up something, but it probably wouldn't hurt to skip a year to get some of this other stuff caught up on,
Well, we've actually not had one anymore. The last CDBG was the pump station down there. Well, true, but it's actually coming in under the FEMA grant, too, right?
like we said before, the only thing, I mean, I know it's, a lot of times we can get them 100%, or some of them's matching, but since we've got into this water audit deal, I know we get it for nothing, but it's actually not free.
Yeah.
We have to show it as money being out there, to keep maintenance up on it, to replace it in years to come, so we have to actually
Depreciate.
depreciate it out. And so they tell you, I mean, I know it's free, but it's not free, if that makes any sense. It's like driving a new car, you know, if you want to continue to drive a new car, you have to continually put money back to drive that new car. So, I mean, unless we really, I mean, really need something, I mean,
The only thing that I can think of that I feel the board probably, right now, we don't need no water line extensions.
right,
The last one's kind of biting us a little bit,
Yeah.
because we ain't got enough. But, you know, we looked at this 10 years ago, it's a pressurized sewer system. And I think if we go with another one, if you cut out your infiltration.
right,
There is an issue of grinder pumps and this and that. We buy them on the front end, the homeowner's responsible thereafter. You know, it's something to throw out there.
That's okay.
It's just something to throw out there that, you know, would it have helped on the collector's building sale? Who knows?
well,
But it would have been a plus if we would have added up there.
and like you said, if you do go to a grinders, there's no loss.
Right, there's no infiltration or loss. I mean, if it's losing, you know it pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
It's all pressurized.
Right,
But then, you know, it's the board's decision. Because I think the time we looked at it before, we looked at Lakeview,
Yeah.
Grace Crossing.
because we still have issues over on Lynn Circle and Lakeview, I mean, Dogwood too, I mean, anything up Tennessee Ridge, I mean, we,
Right, but, you know, Dogwood, it's far-fetched right now. I mean, it'll be a long way down the road.
Right.
Never get it down Dogwood. But, you know, every little bit that we could add on,
well, I mean,
that
that's,
might actually help. But I was just, Dean asked me today, and I told him that we as a board had not talked about it.
Right.
We didn't know if we wanted to apply or anything or not, and
well,
that would be.
that's something the board can think about. And
I don't think we need to add no more water lines.
no, we're good on, I mean, like you said, we're having to flush so much now, it's
Right.
probably costing us on our water.
Dean, if you want to apply, I need some more than maybe 6 months.
I'll
Send me an email.
He was just asking, we hadn't related to him that we wanted him. You know, I guess the last one we actually applied for through his, per se, with the one we liked a few points on, that was the last one we applied for.
You have to apply by October, don't you?
Right, we got, and
End of
that's,
October.
right, so we, you know, that's the reason I brought it up to the board, it's gotta be in the state's hands by the end of October.
That's something, I mean, you think about when we talk about next month.
I just felt like it's my job to make you want.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nobody's talking, I didn't say that. But the rounds are coming up and
Okay.
usually they go for water or something.
Right, we hadn't really had much luck on sewer grants much to
Everything we tried on sewer has really been rehab.
rehab, yeah.
The sewer don't get funded near as much.
No, it's
as
water. Anybody got anything else? Sid? Oh, yeah, we gotta reschedule next month's meeting. I don't have a calendar with me.
If you got any objections,
Somebody hit your panic button.
me, I'm parked out here.
I don't have my car.
I don't think it's me.
Yep, that's you.
Oh,
Going out with a bang.
I don't even think I touched it, but maybe I did.
Oh, man, I'm gonna miss you, man.
You wanna do it on Tuesday or the following Monday?
I don't want to do it on Tuesday. But that's up to y'all though.
Oh, the day after Labor Day?
The day after Labor Day.
Second of days, whichever.
I'll go for the 8th. That's Monday, following Monday?
Yeah.
I'll go for the 8th.
Okay. That sounds good to me, Ray. Woody, is that, everything good with that?
Good.
I guess you'll, see it, you make that one?
And I also have the public
We gotta have
hearing on
that
the
public hearing before.
de-annexation.
Right, the public hearing will be on that date too.
5:45. I got here a little early, I thought I might have just lost out on the memo.
Thank you, Ray.
Out here about 30.
Because we're back.
You did a motion on that.
All right, I need a motion and a second on, changing the next meeting date to the 8th.
Change it today.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got anything else? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn? All in favor? We're adjourned.
Then you got to run a meeting one time and you de-annex.
That's what I told him. I thought he threw some, he was here 10 minutes, threw somebody out of the city.
Know what you're trying to tell us. And lead us through this, meeting for the city. Amen. Roll call.
Hold, I'm almost done. Okay, ready? Alderman Campbell?
Here.
Alderman Mitchell?
Here.
Alderman Finley? Alderman Dunn? Alderman Bailey?
Here.
Alderman Ligon?
Here.
Alderman Gooden?
Here.
Alderman Taylor?
Here.
And Mayor Parchman?
Here.
Mr. Jim?
Here.
Over four.
Have a motion to approve the minutes. We have a motion second. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Before I go into a lot of communication from the mayor, this is Mr. Taylor's last time to serve on our board. I want to say how proud I've been for him to serve with us, and I informed him a while ago if somebody else didn't stick in his ward very long, we'd probably reappoint him again.
Thank you, Mayor. Enjoy.
In the communications, for those of you that not aware, our ponytail girls is back from their Louisiana ball team. I'm not sure nothing about any scores or how they've done, but we've asked the Chamber of Commerce permission to put a sign on their big billboard at the crossroads. We bought a banner and stretched it across Main Street down here about the hospital entrance. We've done some more work on the Baptist Church drainage. Mr. Howard's been down there flagging and spraying some paint around where we're going to run and build a wall head to keep from washing out around it. Our next phase of downtown revitalization has been submitted. Bid specs have been submitted. We should be able to bid the project out in about a month or so, provided everything is approved. Vandalair, I told y'all last time that Vandalair's rates was going up, and we've got about 10 customers that we buy water from them. Philip, Miss Pendergrass, and myself went over there yesterday, talked to them, and I told them if there's any way that we could do it, they'd do it. I'd like to give them those 10 customers, since we're losing $300 a month on them. But that line was put in with a grant. I don't know if we'll be able to give them lines or not. And I told them that I couldn't give nothing away without board approval.
Are they willing to accept?
He talked like they would. He'd have to check with his
Mayor,
board.
one thing to consider before you give it away, you give the line to them, one day you may be able to serve your own system with another tank at some point in time, but even without giving it away, you'd be better off to even put a small pump in and pump your own water if you the money ahead rather than buying water from them.
Okay.
Because that's a losing proposition, buying water from them.
Would you, be kind enough to look into that?
Yes, I've already looked into it to
Okay.
some degree. We've done that before many times, for 10 customers, that it would certainly be a good benefit to pump the water.
Well, I'm not in favor of giving anything away.
Well, once you give that line away that you got with a grant to put in, I mean, that's gone forever, and that's a whole lot of line up through there. And one day you may have another tank at a higher elevation. You know, who knows, one day, and you won't never get that line back.
No.
And you may serve a lot more customers with another tank at a higher elevation, and you can serve a lot more customers with the same tank. And I hate to see you give a line away, because that's gone forever.
And there's room out there hoping for potential growth. There's more
Well,
customers
there's
in the
always
area.
room for growth if you got water.
That's something we need to look at down the road.
We-
Well down the road.
We rode out there after we left Van Leer, and there's room for growth out there. There's all kinds of growth room.
Anytime you've got a water line, there's room for growth, especially when you can get more pressure on it. But once you give that line away, it's gone forever. It'll never get back.
Mr. Hires, can you tell me about how much a pump would cost that would use
Well,
the service center?
we've got a pump, we just took one out on, River Hall. We did the connection on, Rocky Hall. We've already got the pump, a little pump that we have to have, it doesn't cost much, and the cost is running, that's what it costs us. And that's why we always try to get rid of the pump as soon as we can. But running the pump won't cost any more than that added cost of what you've been paying Van Leer for water. I mean,
Especially if they double their prices.
Oh, it's really gotten absurd in the last couple of years. But we just need to look at it and see, but I hate for you to.
On these pumps, could you use the solar power system, or would you still have to have electricity to it?
No, you have to have a heck of a
Solar
power
power?
to run the pump. They pull more electricity. Than you get out of a normal solar panel. And you can get a solar panel to run a light or something like that, but not to run.
We'll cancel what I said, giving line to them.
I would hate to give that much line. If it was just a short line for a couple of houses, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But see, that line goes pretty good ways.
They're putting in their new meters. They're putting us in a meter that, like we're fixing to get to.
Master,
What?
master meter?
Yeah, micrometer.
I think
Yeah, we looked at them yesterday too, and they went out and read some. They'd gone about 5 minutes, and they'd read 65 meters when they come back into the base.
But as you well know, once you give a water line away, it's hard to ever get it back. Or impossible.
We'll, we'll hang on to her then.
Right, so just try to let you make it go, just try to work something else.
I should have talked to you before I opened my mouth, shouldn't I? Next thing I have is committee reports. You want to talk?
Planning Commission, we had a request for rezoning, but then the gentleman that made the request failed to show for the Planning Commission, so it's not an issue. And we'll do some training, we're gonna start some training before we've got new members of the Planning Commission here.
We hadn't got any old business. New business, we need to set a fine for compression brake violation ordinance. Chief Moore suggested 1925 during our work session.
Now, what would be the total once you came to court for that?
Through everything, I think, don't quote me, I think it's 142.
So it would still be significant enough to give you attention.
I'd have to look at the chart, but I think it's.
Since we passed that ordinance, have there been any instances where y'all have considered writing tickets for it?
I've not come across any situation that would require it.
Any more questions on the, or wait till we get the ordinance?
Yeah, I'll have one next month.
Okay. The other thing we have in new business is Steve Lewis has sent a letter. Y'all should have a letter in your packet. He's wanting to rename the court square in his father's name since he had a business down there on the square of the Old Town Village. But if we name that Donnie Lewis's square, that means that 911 is going to have to change addresses. Everybody's got a business on the square is going to have to change their addresses. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just telling you what we're going to have to do. And if anybody wants to do anything about it, we need a motion on it. Without a motion, it fails. Next thing we got is a quick claim deed. It's the alleyway in behind the funeral home. They've bought the house lot from the Baptist church and they're wanting to build a chapel and connect the two buildings together. And they was wanting to know if Erin would give them a quick claim deed for that little alleyway in there that we're responsible for keeping up now.
In other words, that alley does not go with either lot, the one above there or below there.
Yes, sir. And I think they own the one above there now. For Larry Naves had a antique store in that old house that used to sit back there, if you remember. Yeah. And I think when he sold everything to Lawson. I'll need a motion and a second to do anything with that.
I really see no problem with this. I mean, it's not a value to us.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Probably.
We'll get a roll call as soon as she gets a motion wrote.
Motion to grant Nave, is it Larson Nave?
Maybe Larson.
Nave Larson. Motion to grant, to approve quitclaim deed to Nave Larson for the alleyway behind their property on Main Street. Would that work for you?
Maybe
Alderman,
Larson is preach.
Yeah, okay. I'll make that proper when I type it up. Alderman Campbell, Alderman Mitchell,
Yes.
Alderman Bailey,
Yes.
Alderman Wiegand,
Yes.
Alderman Gooden,
Yes.
Alderman Taylor.
Yes.
Motion carries. Nate Larson, okay.
That's all I've got on here, other than, police report and fire department. But before I go into that, remember the work session's the 28th of this month, 6 p.m. Police reports first on my list.
For the month of July, the police department answered a total of 151 calls, issued 29 citations. The revenue from those are there noted underneath. We made 8 arrests. The breakdown on those is underneath. We worked 9 accidents, and none with injuries. Thank you.
Chief?
Other than training, we haven't done too much this month. We've answered 3 calls, 1 EMS assist, 1 gas leak, and mutual aid calls to the county fire department. The past month, firefighters are attending firefighter 1 and 2 classes. They've completed the classroom portion. They've tested for the practical exams, hands-on exams for firefighter 1 and 2, and everybody's passed. The 27th of this month, they're taking their hazardous materials awareness and operations written test, which is arguably one of the hardest tests a firefighter will ever have to take over their volunteer career. As long as they pass that, they can go on to the firefighter 1 and 2 exams in our furnace. So it's going to be an exciting day. It's going to be a first for this community to have that many firefighters be nationally recognized as certified firefighters.
What is that total?
It's 5 guys.
5?
Yeah. And normally it costs about $8,000 to send a firefighter to rookie school, and it's cost us right at $250 per firefighter. So, and we're blessed to have the opportunity to do that. Good luck to everybody this week.
How's the equipment running?
Equipment's great. Everything's looking good. Got no complaints.
Mayor, before you adjourn, I just wanted to say too, I had it noted down here. I was going to let the board know we acquired another Humvee for winter use, and also a flatbed truck as well. Plus a lot of small items that we can use throughout the police department.
You guys are president for General Humvees.
So cool. I looked out there and there's this line up and I'm going, whoa. Flatbed.
Mr. Howard, you want to say something to us?
This, going into the park, I got a picture of it, but I left it in the car. There's a large, like a Christmas tree. You want to, does the board want to leave that standing right where it's at? What's the feeling of the board?
We thought it had to either be moved or cut down. I mean,
Where's the entrance? The entrance is gonna be right there.
right there.
It's right in the way, it's right in,
It's in the way, you move.
well,
I mean, to move it,
I don't know if we can,
it's gotta be cut and then replanted. I mean,
take it
replant
down
another
and
one
try
or
to
something.
plant another. I mean, I don't know if we can move it or not.
That'd be really expensive.
That would be real
I
expensive on that
didn't
side.
mean move it literally that way, I mean, get rid of it.
Okay.
You can find people that'll move it for you. You can call me
Well,
somebody.
I will see, but I just, because it is almost right in the entrance.
No, we move it, I think we talked about replanting or planting a new
See it
one
from there?
someplace else.
Okay. I've got a picture of it in the car. I was
But
gonna ask that question.
But it's a pretty good sized cedar tree.
Yeah, it is.
It's a pretty tree.
It is
Yes.
pretty, but it's
But we could,
I hate
we
to go
could,
to the expense to move it when it dies, so it might be better just to cut
we
it
could,
and try
we
to
could,
find another.
if we wanted another one, we could buy another one somewhere, or
Okay.
we'd go out here in the field and dig one up somewhere.
How far from the entrance is it?
This is Gary's last meeting.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I've worked with you on and off for a long time, both here and up in the factory. You've been a gentleman and a scholar to work
I
with.
appreciate you saying that, Jim.
Right.
As I said, when the mayor made mention of it, I enjoyed this time. It actually turned out to be a little longer than I thought it was going to be. I have enjoyed it.
You ran a good ship up at the factory for sure. I appreciate that too. Thanks to see you leave.
I did too. He said if you wanted coffee, it's just up ahead.
Meet you for lunch at the hospital.
Those of you who don't know, Nana called today and said Fred fell and broke some ribs.
I was wondering why she wasn't here.
She's up there. I seen her at the hall. Mom's up there, and I seen her in the hallway, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her.
Is he in the hospital or is he?
Yeah.
Need to talk about the water plant?
Pardon?
You need to talk about the water plant or anything?
I hadn't heard anything from the Corps.
Okay.
We're still waiting on it, but I think we're close on the downtown.
Okay.
I think probably look at it advertised at this point.
Okay. If Mr. Howard hadn't got anything else and the board hadn't, get a motion to adjourn.
Any motion? Not second.
We got a motion second, all in favor? Those opposed, motion carried.